Yeah.
And Linkin Park, of course.
Thank you.
Now, earlier this week, you joined my closet homosexual bosses, Kevin and Bean, on the phone.
Yes, I did.
And you were talking about...
Is it really closet, though? I mean,
Yeah,
I think
at this
they're
point.
pretty out. They're
Mr.
pretty
Shinoda,
out.
you make a very salient point at this. I would say that most people, you guys are aware that Kevin and Bean are not only partners on the air, they are lovers.
Lovers.
Yes, they are life partners. Dead by Sunrise is your new venture musically.
Yes. Thank you.
And you will be playing some Dead by Sunrise music on stage today at the Epicenter 2009, yes?
Yeah, we're gonna be
It's a thinly veiled secret.
It's true. Actually, it was Mike's idea that he was like, you guys should come out like during the Linkin Park set and play.
God, that's
a few
such a
songs.
good idea.
And I was
Isn't
like,
that a good idea?
You are a freaking genius.
Thank you.
And I would have never ever suggested that. Thank you for being the
Well-
guy who did that for me.
It sounds funny and all, but you're an incredibly secure person, and so must the rest of the guys in the band.
Right.
To say, hey, you know what? In the middle of our set, go ahead and trot out a different band and give it a run.
And we did that. We did 5 shows in Europe and in Japan, and it worked out pretty well. So we're gonna come out tonight. We're gonna play 3 songs. One of which is "Crawl Back In," which is being played right now on your lovely radio station.
Getting great response at KROQ. Crawl Back In is the new single from Dead by Sunrise. Now, Chester said that this is just simply a way for him to exercise different, musical muscles, and it's just a way to tide Linkin Park fans over.
It's a way for me to tell people what to do. In Linkin
Right.
Park, I kind of am a part of a team. In Dead by Sunrise, I'm kind of like a dictator.
Right. Okay.
so
So it's nice to be in charge.
Yeah.
But what I want you to know, Mr. Shinoda,
What kind of tater are you again? I'm
A
sorry.
dictator.
Ronnie James Dio said the same thing to Rainbow, and next thing you know, solo career and 2 albums with Black Sabbath, never to return to Rainbow. And I'm saying, watch out, watch out.
I think Chester is more like a Gwen Stefani in that sense, in that he'll eventually come back and he's got really nice abs.
And he'll bring hot Japanese dancers.
Hopefully.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I also have a cologne called Sheep.
Yeah.
You
don't wanna know
You know
what
what?
the
You also make or design shoes like Gwen Stefani does, right?
I do.
Look at that.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
I don't design shoes. I have other people design them, and then I take
And
credit.
then
But that's
take
what
credit
she
for
does
it.
too.
It's a great thing to do is always take credit for things you don't do. I've made a career out of it. And as you guys walked out here, fans are going crazy. And you take time to sign autographs, to take pictures. And I'm not just saying this to blow smoke up your very, very successful asses. But out of all the bands on the KROQ, little playlist, you guys are the most accessible. You guys go out of your way to bend over backwards to make sure that you really give back to the fans. And you always have since you were young guys, now to the point that you are international superstars. Has that become more of a burden now that you are such, big name acts?
I wouldn't say it's a burden. I mean, most of the people that we meet are actually really cool. But I'd say that there have been like a 0.02% of people who are just like so crazy weird that it makes you hate everybody for a minute. But honestly, all of our fans are great. We have the best fans in the world, hands down. Like Linkin Park fans are the best fans. When you're in a band and you think of the kind of fan base that you want as being in a band, fans that stick by you, that understand your creative motions throughout your career. Our fans are the best, like they love the heavy stuff, they love the poppier stuff, they love everything that we do, the hip hop, everything we do, and they support us 100%. And so when I say that we have the best fans in the world, it's absolutely true. There's no better fan than a Linkin Park fan, and they make what we do even better than sitting around hanging out by ourselves, making music, which is great, but going out and performing it to a crowd that knows every word to every song, even a song that's brand new. Like when New Divide came out, we went and played it for the first time. Our fans already knew the lyrics to the song, and it's just crazy. It's
At
amazing
this point,
feeling.
as long as you guys have been successful, at this point, is that still put chills down your spine to look out into a crowd and see people singing your songs back to you?
Absolutely, it's the best feeling. I mean, that's what it's all about. I'm a fan of music. If I wasn't in a band here playing this show, I'd be here watching bands. I'd be singing along to all my favorite songs, and that's what it's about.
Speaking of which, thanks for taking this interview a little bit earlier than planned. People probably don't know that you guys agreed to meet with us a little bit early so that we can go over and check out Alice in Chains.
I didn't know why.
Yeah,
but when I said
that's
that,
part of it.
When I heard that the guys in Linkin Park are beckoning to me with their ravenous demands, sir, I submit.
Thank you. Thank you.
And you're welcome to come
I would
over
like
and
you guys
watch with
to
us, man.
really take note, to really appreciate this, because I've seen it happen so many times before. For bands to get as even less successful as these guys are, and it's just so easy to kind of hide and shy away from the fans. And again, these guys, out of any band in the world, are just so great to their fans, and they really do make an effort to give back, and they've stayed so accessible and down to earth. So you should appreciate them for that.
Thank you.
I was talking to Jerry Contrell
Then
earlier.
that $50 I paid you earlier went a really long way.
I was talking to Jerry Contrell earlier, and I'll have you know, I tried my best, because I said, hey, Mr. Contrell, I remember at a show here in Southern California, Mr. Chester Bennington came out and sang Man in a Box with you, and it sounded fantastic. How about you do that again? And he's like, I don't know.
That is exactly how he talks. That's so funny. It's like he was sitting here.
But so I just wanted you to know that what may come of it, I don't know, but I tried my best, sir.
Well, I have to say that, Jerry's a friend of mine, and dude, it was so much fun to come play at Inland Invasion. We played with those guys. It was great. I'm a huge Alice in Chains fan.
Me too.
I've loved them, ever since, for most of my life. I've been a fan of that band, and I'm actually super, super stoked that they're putting out a great record, and the new song is unbelievably good.
William is great.
And William's amazing,
awesome.
and
Band sounds as
they've
good
done
as
it the
they've
right
always
way.
sounded.
Yeah,
they're great.
I've heard through numerous various people that I've had the opportunity of listening to their album all the way through that it's like the best Alice in Chains record that's ever been made, and I truly believe that that's something that they could pull off. So I'm super stoked for those guys.
The tracks I've heard have been absolutely unbelievable. I'm sitting next to two vocalists, and you mentioned William. What he has been able to do is truly amazing, in my opinion, and I'd like to know what you guys think, in that he was able to fill a role of a legendary vocalist without trying to do an imitation, but still harmonize with another guy who's known for his vocal harmonies and make it kind of sound seamless and keep the fans happy.
Yeah,
I'm sure that was part of the, I don't know, I haven't talked to them about it, and I'd love to at some point, but they definitely sound good together. I would love to hear how that came about, how they kind of started singing together and everything. But yeah, they do sound good together, and I'm looking forward to listening to them tonight, checking out Tool, checking out I know Wolf Mother was on just now.
Yeah.
So it's a good lineup.
I feel like what William has done is he's kind of done similar to what AC/DC did, whereas he's got his own sound, and but it's close enough, and it's stylistically close enough and tonally close enough to where he can pull off the stuff that they've done in the past really well. But it sounds like Alice in Chains, and it doesn't sound like something that they pulled out of their ass. Really, it's great.
Let's talk about Dead by Sunrise, though. Because that sounds like, what's funny about the Dead by Sunrise, speaking of this Alice in Chains stuff, I've heard from some people, and I feel the same way, that when you hear it, it sounds like Chester, but it also sounds different for some reason. And it's like he's just, it's almost like he's using his voice in a different way. Mike, did you feel that way when you heard it? Or
I did.
How did you feel?
Let me tell you what I thought of it. I thought that, though obviously vocally it sounds similar because you are the same person and you are using the same instrument.
Right.
The aggressiveness is a little bit more, it's a little heavier, it's a little bit more acute on Linkin Park records. It's to the point, whereas this seemed like a much more avant-garde venture. It seems like this is an alternative rock song, alternative rock act, and whereas Linkin Park is like I said, a much more edgier kind of percussive delivery. You seem to be a little bit more relaxed as far as how your demeanor was on the record.
I think that vocally, what I think the biggest difference is the harmonies and hearing how the different levels of harmonies and how I'm using my voice. I think kind of is something that hasn't really been. There aren't 4-part harmonies on Linkin Park records.
Right.
There aren't harmonies to the harmonies, and I think that that's something that's different. So it kind of gives it more of a sung feel, and it's not Linkin Park, and I think that I think it was important for me. Nothing bothers me more than a band that has a singer that goes and does something different, and it sounds like the band he was in before. Then why bother?
Well, yeah, what's the point? You've already a massively successful
and that's the
band.
reason why that's the reason why this record was made, was because these songs are different, and they aren't Linkin Park songs. And I do feel that they were good enough to put on a record and have people listen to it. And so that was important for me to kind of convey that through the album. And it's got this grungy kind of feel. It's got this poppy thing going on, and the combination of those two things, I think, makes it unique from what Linkin Park sounds
It
like.
is. It is totally mutually exclusive from the sound of Linkin Park. And I'm sure you can empathize, in having a side project that, can explore different avenues musically.
Yeah. I mean, I did that with the Fort Minor stuff, and then, thank you. And we had a lot of fun. It's like it's always nice to like just flex different muscles, like you said, creatively, and then we already like I don't know if we've mentioned we are in the studio working on the next Linkin Park record right now. So it's
it's
nonstop.
awesome.
One thing that we're trying to do that I want our fans to know, I want you guys to know. We've been on a certain pace since we started to like put out a record every couple years or so. And I think what we really want to do right now is release music a little more quickly, to break up the touring a little more, because it used to be like release a record, tour for 2 years, take a small break, then start a new record, right? But I think right now it's just continual, like keep writing, keep touring, just go back and forth and back and forth. And that way we'll be able to release more stuff for the fans, because people are always asking about, like, as soon as we release a record, they're like, when's the next one coming, And it's like, well, let's take that seriously. We're just trying to listen to the fans and do, what works for them, what works for us, and hopefully make the system better. And expect that, with the fact that we're releasing more music, we're definitely going to experiment a lot. We're going to, not every, Minutes to Midnight sounded different from the ones before. The next one's going to sound different from all that. Next one, who knows what's going to happen. Maybe we release another record like Minutes to Midnight or Hybrid Theory or Meteora or Reanimation or whatever. And on this next record right now, I can tell you that it sounds different from all of them.
It's good to know. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together.
Thank you.
For Mike Shinoda and Chester Bennington
guys.
of Linkin Park. What do you say we go watch some Alice in Chains?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Broadcasting live from backstage at Epicenter 09, presented by Rogue. Are you Rogue? Find out at IamRogue.com.